The following episode will contain spoilers. You have been warned.
You're listening to Cinema IRL, the podcast that throws you into the movie and asks the question, what would you do? If you thought messy love triangles were so 2005, then listen to Amber and Scott discuss the Threesome, the 2025 edition of Heartbreak Geometry. And now, Cinema IRL.
I wish I could switch places for just one day.
What would you do?
Put yourself in my shoes.
How do we handle this?
What would you do?
Put yourself in my position.
What would you do?
Now it's your turn.
Well, apparently, sometimes it takes three to tango.
Yeah, this was a documentary about the dangers of a threesome. It was a documentary about the dangers of engaging in a threesome.
I think it might have been a little overrated.
I saw the cameras following them throughout the whole ordeal, and it was really enlightening.
If you say so.
Okay, you're not playing along with me, so let's go ahead and get to our real description. An impulsive night leads to a wild threesome between Olivia, Connor, and Jenny, leaving both women facing unexpected consequences, thrusting all three into the raw and beautiful messy chaos of adulthood. Okay, this wasn't a documentary, but it could be. It could be.
Well.
It could be. Yeah, you don't hear this happening a lot. So, in short, Connor has a crush on Olivia. Not really. They had a one-night thing many moons ago, and he's still pining over her, and she's not so much over him. So there is an opportunity to make her jealous. And so Connor's friend says, hey, that girl over there at the restaurant, she got stood up. Why don't you go hang out with her? And Olivia is a waitress at that restaurant. So sure enough, Connor introduces himself to Jenny, and they hit it off. And then Olivia comes over. She's like, yeah, I slept with him, and injects herself into the conversation.
It was the equivalent of a dog pissing on a tree.
It was a definite he's mine thing, even though she didn't seem to want him until that very moment.
Well, that's because that is a trait that women have. They don't want something until they think they can't have it anymore.
I will have to trust you on that one. So they ended up just kind of hanging out as a group at the restaurant, and then going off, leaving, having a great time, hanging out at someone's apartment. And then it kind of turns into a truth or dare kissing fest, which ends up in a threesome. And the next morning, Olivia's left because, she's not super attached. She's more like, okay, well, I had my thing, because she's the one that really started the whole thing. And Jenny is still hanging out there like, okay, well, I guess we did that last night. And she invites Connor to take a shower. They have another little like, hey, good morning kind of a bang. And off they part ways. And at that point, Connor now has had his second time with Olivia. He finds her and says, come on, let's go out on a real date. And she acquiesces and says yes.
Yeah. I actually don't have any. I figured you were going to keep going.
No. I mean, I'm just trying to set things up for people. So, long story short, they finally find a way to each other, and Olivia and Connor are together. And about 6 weeks passes, and Olivia's like, yeah, pregnancy test, pregnant.
Well, more. He found the box.
Yeah, he
for
saw
the
it in the
pregnancy
garbage can.
test.
Yep. So she basically says, I can get rid of it. And he was like, well, I don't know. Let's talk about this. So first, what would you do? What would you do with any of that? If you were in this documentary, what would you do?
Listen, if Olivia didn't really want it to be found, she wouldn't have thrown it away in there. You just...
Yeah.
To be found. Like it's here to be found.
Yeah, you don't just leave that on the top of the garbage.
Yeah.
So what would you do if you were part of any of this scenario with Connor pining after a girl who doesn't really have any interest in him, and the whole, hey, do you want to have a threesome, and then the pregnancy test and the unrequited love and yada, yada, yada?
I mean, if I'm Connor, that's an anchor baby. I mean, he's to anchor him down to the relationship. Okay, let's be parents. Guess you're stuck with me. I mean, not really, but yeah. I mean, for what he wants long term, it's in his best interest for her to keep the baby.
Yeah, he has been thinking about her all the time that they weren't together, even though she was seeing a married guy at the time, and was really just enjoying her life as a single woman. And it was only the evening of that threesome that even opened up the possibility for Connor again to say, okay, can we try? Can we try? And they ended up dating for 6 weeks, having a great time until the pregnancy stick, of which point they share and I love you, and then decide to have the baby.
Yeah. And then...
So what would you do? You find a pregnancy stick.
I mean, if I'm...
Positive pregnancy
I
stick.
just said if I'm Connor, I'm...
Well, no, if
I'm
you're
happy.
you, we're that's what we do, is what would you do? Not what Connor do. What would you do?
If I found a pregnancy
Yes,
stick...
that's what we do here. Are you new here?
I'm asking a lot of questions.
Why?
Why?
Well, you've been dating for 6 weeks. Would you say, have you... Okay, so tell me, at that point, would you go there of like, what was your history before we met?
Well, you said, what if I found it?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
I'm married to you.
Well,
So if I
in
found a pregnancy stick, I'm asking a lot of questions.
Okay, but in the context of the film, what
yeah,
would you
so
do?
if I'm Connor,
Well, no, if you're you in the context of the film, that's what we do here.
well, yeah, we put ourselves into the shoes of the characters and ask, what would you do?
Yeah,
So I'm not, if I was Connor,
Okay,
I mean, sure, I'm happy.
so after 6 weeks, you're happy to baby down with someone?
I mean, if it's someone that I'm not sure is really sold on the relationship, and I am, then you think you can use this as a gel? Sure.
Yes, because using babies as motivation to make relationships work always goes really well.
Yeah, there's this slight difference between keeping a baby and intentionally trying to make a baby to make your relationship work. The second one doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah, don't do that, people.
But then along comes Jenny, and she's like, hey, I'm prego too.
Yeah, and Olivia basically thinks she's a liar because Connor used a condom in the threesome, but she did not know about the morning of sex. And she gets all bent out of shape, like, I didn't know about that. How could you? And she goes off in a tizzy.
I mean, looking back on the movie from retrospect, she said Connor was wearing a condom. Theoretically, that's going to keep either of them from getting pregnant.
Well, Olivia got pregnant supposedly within the context of those 6 weeks that they were dating, not necessarily on the night of the threesome. Jenny did, because that was her only encounter with them, but Olivia and Connor were dating for 6 weeks. So at any point during that time, he could have knocked her up.
Timing seems to, as the movie went on, seems to imply that it was near simultaneous. But, I mean, maybe, yeah.
So we think Connor has very potent sperm. He has 2 knocked up women, desperately wants to be with one of them, and the other one, he's like, well, crap. what do I do with this? And it turns out that even though that was her second threesome, she's actually fairly conservative, lives at home, kind of religious.
Yeah, I thought that too when she said that. And that's what, it wasn't her second threesome. It was her it was like, okay, it wasn't her first time having sex. I read it the way you did, that she was saying it was her second threesome, but when she described the situation, it was just sex.
Yeah, that didn't make sense.
Yeah, so
yeah.
I mean,
kind
basically,
of some strange writing there.
More stating that the threesome wasn't her first time having sex.
So now we're in this awkward situation where Olivia was like, well, crap, I'm one of 2 girls that you've gotten pregnant, and I don't want to have this baby anymore. I don't want to be with you anymore. I don't want to have this baby anymore. I want to have an abortion. What do you do if you're Connor?
Oh, one, okay, hang on. I have a comment to make, but I'm going to wait to make the comment. I mean, no. I mean, you have
what?
You have no choice, but you're going to try to convince her not to?
Which her? We have 2 hers.
Well, the one who's trying to get the abortion.
Olivia. Okay, so you're going to try and convince her not to. Okay, and what do you do when Jenny shows up in your door pregnant?
Wet. A lot.
Yeah, that's a doozy to have to even process.
Yeah, because, like, I know if you're a woman, the first thing you don't want to hear out of the guy's mouth is, are you sure? like implying that it could be somebody else's.
Yeah, you must be sleeping around. Are you sure? Because that's what that implies.
No, yes, exactly what that implies.
Yeah. But it's a fair question if you've been dating someone for 6 weeks.
Yeah. So I
What?
don't think Jenny should have shown up in person necessarily.
Do you really think that's a texting kind of thing? Hey,
No, it's a, hey, we need to...
you up?
Hey,
I'm preggers.
Hey, we need to talk. When's a good time for me to come over?
Yeah. Yeah, no, she showed up, and unfortunately it was right as Olivia and Connor were coming home for the evening. So that whole conversation happened with the three of them, of which point Olivia's like, yeah, no, I'm out. I'm not doing this.
Yeah. Let me tell you, while there are a lot of what would you do scenarios here.
There are so many because we're only probably in the first 20 minutes of the film.
Yeah, there's a lot of situations where if you're Connor, you're going, yeah, okay. It's
What
like,
do you mean? What does that
I mean,
mean?
you've knocked up two girls at the same time or near the same time. Like, that's uncomfortable.
Yeah, and Olivia says something later in the film, which is a very valid point and unfortunately a very real double standard in the fact that she says, well, if anyone hears your side that you got two women pregnant, they'll be like, way to go, man, home run. And if anyone sees that her situation of being pregnant and that her boyfriend or partner got someone else pregnant and they're both pregnant together, they'd be like, what are you doing? What is happening here? Why are you with him? What's going on?
Well, the problem is like a lot of things in life, this is a context matter situation. It was a threesome. He wasn't cheating on me.
But do you want to always have to explain that, because the situation rapidly becomes, hey, we're all, three co-parenting and we have in and out of each other's lives. And if someone
vaginas.
puts that together, yes. And if you put that together, do you really want to have that conversation over the barbecue on Labor Day to say, oh yeah, no, you're right. The kids are the same age because we had a threesome. Do you want that to be your story for the rest of your life?
I mean, no, it's not the story I want, but it's the story that happened. I mean, if you want to lie, I mean,
but it's true. People would be way to go guy for the Connor, and for the women, they'd be like, oh, well, how does that work?
No, if you're the guy, you're getting, oh God, that sucks. How much child support are you going to have to pay?
You're also going to get you have some amazing sperm, dude.
Yeah. Good for your sperm, bad for your wallet.
Yeah. So fast forward through a lot of stuff just so we can get through the film here. Turns out that the married guy that Olivia had been seeing lied about having a vasectomy, actually was fertile, and he is the father of Olivia's baby. Dun, dun, dun. Plot twist at the end.
What the hell?
Yeah. So all of this anguish of going through all of this and managing all these relationships and women on hormones as they're carrying babies. And it turns out Olivia's baby wasn't even Connor's.
Yeah, which in retrospect, when Olivia got all pissed off because of finding out that he, quote unquote, also impregnated Jenny, but really Olivia was knocked up with someone else's baby. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can take your righteous indignation and shove it up your ass.
So there's so many what would you do here.
But I'm also going to note, I'm sorry, if you are Olivia in that situation, you just don't have the right to be upset. Like, you don't. Like, okay, they had a threesome, but you're not together with him, and if they end up hooking up in the shower the next morning, like...
Yeah, no, it was a casual thing, and she had no interest in him up into that whole jealousy thing. So, yeah, she had no claws into him. The thing that did matter is when they had the whole argument about everyone being pregnant, let's just say everyone being pregnant, Olivia says, yeah, I'm out, I'm going, I don't want any part of this. And while the week that she is away from this situation, she hooks back up with the married guy. And Connor realizes this and is devastated because it had just been a couple of days.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on that?
It's been said, but I don't think it's necessarily true. The best way to get over someone is not to get under someone. this whole thing was super emotionally complicated. Like,
well, what would you do if you were in Connor's shoes? You're with someone, this whole thing happens, your partner walks away, and then a week later, you've almost to a point of patching this up and repairing and moving forward, and you're both feeling really good, but then you learn in those couple of days, your gal slept with some other guy that she had slept with in the past. What do you do?
If you're not together, you're not together. I mean, it is, as soon as...
So you can say, I'm out, and within an hour, you can be hooking up with someone? If you're not together, you're not together. Is there a time limit?
No, there's not. I mean, that is for each individual. If it's me, no, it's not going to be within the hour. I'll probably wait at least 90 minutes. No. I mean, like, if you're together, you're together. If you're not together, you're not together. And...
Well, it goes back to that. I always tell you that everything that happens in life goes back to either a Seinfeld episode or a Friends episode. And this is true. People start paying attention. This is true. And this is actually a Friends episode where Ross and Rachel are together for a long time. They have an argument.
Wait, did they go on a break?
And Rachel says, I just need some time. I need some time. And Ross goes to a party and hooks up with some girl. And then Rachel... The next day says, I want to get back together. And Ross is like, okay. But he hooked up with that girl almost immediately. And then, of course, everyone found out, like happens on sitcoms. And Rachel is devastated. How could you? How could you? And they have this whole big argument of we were on a break.
Okay.
And what are you allowed to do?
Now, I do want to note here that there is a difference between those two situations. And that's the person who essentially did the breaking up. If you're
that's the conflict though, is that if you say I need some time, which is what happened in the Friends episode, that's not breaking up. It's a break, which is what fueled that entire argument and easily a season's worth of Friends.
Yeah. So, like in the Olivia situation, I guess maybe I think I was giving her more of a pass than I probably should have, because it's like, if you're like, I want to break up, and then you go hook up with someone else, and then you're like, oh, I'm going to get back together. You're just basically trying to write your own hall pass. Or it could very well be seen as that, even though...
And she wasn't as clear as that. She basically said, I'm not going to be having your baby while you're having someone else's baby.
I mean, she said, I'm out.
I mean, what are the words that releases someone to be able to do what they want? And I think that's probably really what's foundational here is when you use ambiguous language, what does that mean? How do all parties interpret it? And then the actions you take obviously are framed by your personal interpretation, and it might not be based in clear communication.
But the Ross and Rachel thing is different because Rachel said,
I need some time.
I need some time. He didn't propose that. That's what she's saying. So
if someone needs some time,
if you're the one that's been broken up with,
but that's not a break.
It wasn't your choice.
Wow. Okay, so this is the whole conflict
They
on the
were
TV
on a
show.
break.
No, I need some time. Isn't I break up with you?
Okay, I'm not going to debate the Friends episode, but under the assumption of like we are no longer together, call it what you want. If you are the person that didn't initiate that, you have a little bit more moral wiggle room on that because that wasn't your choice.
Well, she did initiate separating or not doing this anymore.
Yeah, so I mean, she has less.
Well, why? If it's your decision, why do you have less?
Because it's like I said, it's like writing your own hall pass. Like you're saying, I'm going to break up, I'm going to go hook up with that person, and then you get back together quickly. Like you basically gave yourself permission to cheat in a way.
Well, if that's, I guess that goes back to, was it premeditated? If it's premeditated, yeah, you're pretty much a crappy person if you're starting a fight to get a hall pass to go be with somebody else.
But that's the problem is,
but she wasn't.
Perception is reality. Like in the real world, that's what it's going to look like. It's going to look like...
I wouldn't assume that. I certainly didn't assume that here.
Well, yes, because it's a story, but I'm just saying in real life, if you're with someone, they say, we're broken up for now, and then they go hook up with someone and then get back together with you quickly. Like,
I mean, they just had exchanged I love yous. I don't think in the context of this storyline, she was looking for a hall pass.
no, listen, she wasn't looking for a hall pass. I'm not stating that she is, but I'm telling you the perception of it from
I mean, the perception all around is messed up.
Other people's perspectives is that, well, maybe she just wanted a hall pass, like whether it's true or not. Whereas if you don't initiate it, you're not the one looking for the hall pass.
I don't think she initiated it as much as she was reacting to the situation, which is, it seems like semantics, but it really matters, is she didn't just all of a sudden say, we shouldn't see each other. She got confronted with this woman showing up saying, hey, I'm pregnant with your boyfriend's baby. Oh, I see you're pregnant too. And wow, that is a lot to take in. And she reacted to it, and she reacted to it very impulsively, which was in line with her character.
Well, okay, I will say this. This is also one of the reasons why I have a 72-hour breakup rule. And that is, if you say you're breaking up with me, I will not accept that for 72 hours. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to hang out and continue to do stuff, because obviously you're pissed, but I need you to emotionally calm down and then say you want to break up with me. And if you do, then, okay, listen, then I know you're doing it on a clear head, and that's fine. But people do irrational crap in love, and in this case, you're like, you just get this thing and spontaneously you're like, it's over, we're done. So, I mean, I guess if I'm Connor in this situation, then I'm putting the 72-hour clock on, and then we don't have to see each other for 3 days. But after 3 days, I'm coming back to her and saying, hey, you said you wanted to break up. Do you still? Now, also in my world, the other person would know that I have a 72-hour clock, and then I'm going to come back and ask. Well, no, I mean, because
are you doubling down on this whole breaking up thing?
Well, it becomes relevant because I'm saying that I don't accept a breakup for the first 72 hours, i.e., even if you've broken up with me, which is the only way that would activate, like, I can't go hook up with somebody else because I'm still in a relationship in that time period.
So in 73 hours, you can be getting it on with someone else?
I'm just saying, after the other person has gotten to a calmer state and then said, I said I wanted to break up, I still want to break up.
The other interesting what would you do in this film is Jenny comes from a conservative family. She's living at home while she's going to grad school. She is religious, and she does not want to have an abortion. And so she forces Connor into this.
Never say that.
Yeah, never say that. It was in the film. Don't blame Scott. So she forces Connor into this situation of pretending that they are actively boyfriend-girlfriend to help soften the blow for her conservative parents that she is knocked up. And Connor is very uncomfortable with this, as he should be.
I want to go back real fast so I don't forget it.
Okay.
Also, fuck the Republican Party, because they had to drive from Arkansas to Illinois to get that abortion. And I'm sitting there doing like the geography in my head, and it wasn't because they just wanted to cross a straight. You're not crossing a state line. You're crossing, I mean, it's 300 miles. And I feel like now you've got, like, going into Vegas. If you go into Vegas on a major road, you always find casinos just like right inside state line. And I feel like for some of the non-Republican states, like, they have like border abortion clinics that just which honestly would make sense. Like clinics that are just like, here's where you can get your abortion, because it's fuck the Republican Party.
So Connor being forced to play along with this "you're my boyfriend" thing, what would you do if you were him? That is an awkward situation, and it becomes increasingly more awkward when she is not forthcoming, and this thing goes on and on and on up until the fact where she is rushed into the hospital and she still hasn't told her parents.
So this one's really, really dicey. If I'm him, I'm playing along for a little while, for sure.
because he is very clear. I'm your friend. I'm supporting you here as the father of the baby, but we do not have a future. I'm not romantically interested in you. He's still very actively into Olivia. So it's not even like he's misleading her in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I mean, it's a ruse for the parents, but the problem is when you deal with parents like that, that's a rough thing to say. Like, yeah, she probably should have said something by then, but it does get harder after the baby's born because then the guy really seems like he's an asshole. Like, oh, now there's a baby around, peace. Yeah, I mean, it should have been probably more conveyed. Like, I'm willing to play for now, but by X date, if you don't tell them, I will.
Well, you're going to tell her parents that, hey, I actually met your daughter when she was, met me one day at a restaurant and we all went home and had a threesome.
No.
Well, you just said you're going to tell her parents.
Yeah, I'm just going to say we're broken up.
You're going to push the lie.
Okay, more specifically, after X date, I'm not playing along.
Yeah, it's an awkward situation because you want to give Jenny some space. You don't want to stress her out as, she's pregnant and carrying the child. But also, too, the further that you get into this lie, the longer you actually have to maintain it, even later. Like, oh, yeah, no, why did you guys ever break up a couple of years ago? And whatever did happen? And the more you feed into the lie, you're more responsible for tending to the lie in the future.
There's also another step that Connor could have taken that I'm just now thinking about that might have been reasonable.
Okay.
Like if we're continuing to play past whatever date it is that you've got in your mind.
What do you mean? Whatever. Oh, of telling the parents. Yeah. Okay.
I might get into a situation where I pull one of the parents aside. Only one, and aside from everyone. And I was like, hey, listen, I want you to know, first of all, I think your daughter is great. I really, really do. But she and I have had some conversations, and we don't think that us continuing our relationship is the right thing to do. And she didn't know how to tell you that. So
what would you do? Would you tell Jenny you were going to talk to one of her parents, or would you just do it and then separately follow up? Yeah.
I would just do it, but you're trying to soften the blow as much as possible.
It's messy.
And that's why you get one parent. Only one.
Oh, you don't want to get the parent who's holding the mug that says, I love hunting and has guns all around. Don't get that parent.
Well, I mean, you could get that parent. It would be fine. I think either one in this situation would have been fine because you want them to be the one that spreads the news. And yeah, I mean, if I've kind of said it needs to be done by this date and you haven't done it, then I kind of have free reign to be able to do it myself at that point. But again, you're trying not to stress anyone out, and you're not trying to make this an awkward thing. You're not saying, oh, I knocked her up at a threesome. You're like, we have talked, and we are both in agreement that we are not right for each other. And it sucks for the timing, but this is something we both agree on. So
okay.
I will continue to be there for my child. But
and for Jenny in a platonic
way.
Yeah.
It's not like you're never going to see me again. Just understand that we're not together. I'm still the father. I'm still happy to be the father.
Yeah.
But.
Okay. Well, I think that's all I have here. So, folks, be sure to check out this documentary on the dangers of threesomes. It was quite educational.
Yeah, it was. And honestly, though, like, I couldn't take it realistically. Even from the jump, I had a hard time with the realism in this one because I don't think it's ever happened in the history of mankind that with two women and one guy involved, that one of the women suggests to the guy, hey, let's have a threesome. And he's like, maybe we should just do you and me.
But he was pining for her forever. Guys can't just, I don't know, just be like that.
I mean, we are very simple creatures, which unfortunately makes us very primal creatures at times. I mean, like, I can't say I know. I have never had a threesome. It is one of those things. It's one of those boxes I haven't always wanted to check it. Okay. I've always wanted to check it without necessarily actually having the threesome. Like, the actual act of having a threesome doesn't really do a lot for me. The idea of it. But like, I feel like that's one of those, like, it sounds stupid, but like signs that you've lived. Like you had those wild days where I had that threesome once. Like, does that make sense? You don't want to have it, but you want to be able to say that you did.
Okay, well, I'll trust you on that
Makes
one.
you feel more worldly, I guess, or slutty.
Interesting. Okay.
We hope you enjoyed our episode. Thank you for listening. And to catch all the new episodes, please subscribe. We release 2 to 3 episodes weekly, so we'll have new content regularly. Until next time.